This video was inspired by two of my Patreons. Now, full disclosure, I am an affiliate for Emp Shield, but there's reasons for that. Now, before you run off, this isn't a sales pitch, so stop swiping, grab a cup of coffee, and just relax for a second. I plan to put links to both products that I'm going to talk about down in the description, so you can decide what you want to do. I have my preferences, and I'll tell you why at the end of this video, but we're all adults, or at least we should be, and we should be making our own decisions. I did my homework on the Emp Shield and decided to become an affiliate because it's an outstanding product. But one of my Patreons brought another product to my attention that he led me to believe he really likes, called the T.R.A.P. You know, a conversation and a bit of discord ensued, pun intended, since we did it on the group's Discord. If you're interested, go to localprepper.net, find the link, and you can join our Discord. It's completely free. After a while, he provided a link, and I assured him that I would take a good hard look. Between the two different Patreons, that's actually the inspiration for this video. And I give every product a fair shake. So let's get into it. The first thing you have to understand is how an EMP actually works. There's three phases. Some scientists call it the HEMP, or hemp, or hemp E1, E2, and E3. There's a lot of different terminology out there, but let's not get bogged down in the minutia. The bottom line is there's three phases of an EMP. The first one, it's a super fast burst of electricity that passes through the atmosphere. This overloads most conductors. The Operation Fishbowl test produced a 2 mega electron volt pulse that dissipated down to 1 mega electron at ground level. Now, it's hard to wrap your head around these numbers because we're going to be using terms that most people don't use, and that's okay. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Now, the reality is for the E1 part of the phase, this is a real problem for modern cars because, you know, most cars now have about 100 electric circuit boards along with 60 to 100 sensors throughout the car. And yeah, E1 will pretty much eat a hole in those things in a heartbeat. The next one is the E portion of the pulse, sorry about that, is the E2. And this produces what's called an intermediate time pulse. That's right, I've got notes. Which means that instead of an instant blast of electricity, you end up with a blast of electricity that starts about 1 microsecond after the E1 ends and lasts for about 1 second after the actual detonation or explosion. So, you know, we're using terms that we like, but in the electronic world, these are measured in ways that we don't use every day, that are so fast that you need a device that can actually just stop it from happening. Now, this is a real threat because the E2 pulse is only an issue if the E1 protection fails. Generally, the E2 will destroy systems that are unprotected. And then we get to the E3 portion of or phase of an EMP. This occurs after the E2 phase and is similar to a geomagnetic storm that lasts tens to hundreds of seconds. So we're talking about something that will only last, you know, a couple of minutes. But it's considered to be the long wave pulse. An example of what it does to systems is if you have one of those cheap extension cords and you plug it into the wall, and then, you know, you plug a heater into it, or you run a hairdryer off it for too long, that cord really starts to heat up, and the longer it runs, the hotter it gets, and then sooner or later, there's going to be a problem. We all know what happened. All right, so let's take a look at the actual devices. First, let's take a look at the T.R.A.P. Like I told my Patreon, I would give him, you know, I would give it a fair shake. I was talking to the Patreon who started the whole thing, who asked the hard question, looking for a recommendation. And I told her, I said, you know, you're one of the key things that inspired this video, because I now have like 100 tabs open on my computer for all the research that I was doing just for this video. It's pretty insane. So the device is called the T.R.A.P. And I'm going to put something right there for you so you can actually see what it looks like. It stands for Transient Reducing Auxiliary Plug. I watched every single one of this guy's videos. Now, he was basically a NASA scientist. His background, he's got a PhD in electronic engineering. He's not stupid. He's done the math. So I will give him that. What I will tell you is that in watching all of his videos, I didn't really get a strong sense of, like, I'm going to spend, $300 on this device. And I didn't get a sense that, in his own words, that the product will do what it's supposed to do. Well, I won't even say that. I'll say that the product will protect you from an EMP. That's what I didn't get from it. He used the term internal fuse, when in reality it's a shunt. And as an electronic engineer or an electrical engineer, he should definitely know the difference between the two. He was more focused on dissipating the load in cables. That was basically his theory behind protecting from an EMP device. And there's some logic to that, because that's what NASA paid him to do. So I can see where he would fall back to what he knows. He used on the website where you buy the plugs, they use the AEC Q101 qualified code, and this is so every wire, every circuit board, every piece of electronics that's inside your car is AEC Q101 certified. It's just a standard. So I'm not sure why he applies this standard, and we'll cover some more of that later, but it is what it is. The T.R.A.P's rated at 5,000 watts of transient energy for brief transients, which basically, then he used the term shunts. He basically shunts away that electricity or those watts. The number seems kind of low, but his math seems logical. The one thing I noticed about the T.R.A.P and the T.R.A.P, which you connect directly to your battery, is that it really isn't designed to protect the vehicle from phase 3, which is what's going to be that hot extension cord, all those cables that are inside your car. He used terms like help to mitigate, which means to kind of try and stop. And then he used another term, help to suppress transient energy. So it led me to believe that it doesn't actually suppress the transient energy. The device focuses on three tiers, which was kind of weird. And these are his own words. This is the company's own words. So the first step would be to basically jab these 3-inch long T.R.A.P devices. They basically look like the same. They're 3 inches long. You jam them in your cigarette lighters, and you basically want to stick one in every single cigarette lighter you have. Some of these vehicles have like up to 3 now, so they definitely want you to do that. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. The next thing was battery protection. His next layer is battery protection, which is the purpose of the T.R.A.P device, which basically just connects between the positive and negative. And it appears to be a shunt in that connection. But then he goes on to say that it doesn't have to be a T.R.A.P device. So it's like, I don't know. I think there's a quality issue there. And then he follows up by saying that the third step should be the use of high saturation ferrites. Now, if I haven't bored you to death yet, it's basically a ring that goes around a wire that will suck up electricity if it tries to get pushed through the wire too fast. So basically his kit is like three things. Now, I have reached out to the company who makes this. It's called Disaster Preparer, and asked them a couple of questions. The first, and I'll probably cover this again, but the first one is, do you have any MIL standard certifications? And the second one is the device reusable? Because it appears the way the device, something's crawling on me. It appears the way the device may be designed is that it doesn't reset itself, and that it's a single-use item. And that's a problem for me, because it tells me that it just tells me that it's not a very superior device. I've received no response from the company. They said that they're normally get back to you within 24 hours. This 24 hours have came and went. And if I guess I'll put a post underneath this video if they do respond to me saying what they said. So the next device is the Emp Shield. Boom. That's right. I'm an affiliate. I'll sell you one. But you know what? Don't take my word for it, because I'm not a scientist. What I am is a guy with a lot of damn common sense. So the one thing that I got from all of my research with the EMP Shield and why I'm an affiliate is because they have definitively stated that the device can activate in less than 500 trillionths of a second. Now, I think both devices activate within a reasonable period of time, but EMP Shield is clearly standing out and saying, hey, we're faster than you. Right now, the EMP Shield is rated at 228,000 amps per phase, E1, E2, and E3. So this thing can take a beating. It's listed with the Department of Homeland Security as an actual EMP device. It's the only one I could find. And it doesn't have this AECQ-101 normal transient energy device that you use on cars. It's specifically designed to protect during all three phases of an EMP. So yeah, that's good. And it is completely reusable. In fact, they couldn't break it. They used a standard of 30 strikes or 30 EMPs, and it worked every single time. So they took it up to 40, and after 40, they just quit. So sadly, the T.R.A.P doesn't seem to be able to do that, but once again, they haven't responded to me. So if that changes, I will update. And what I like about it is that it uses what I like about the EMP Shield is that it uses single point protection. Instead of putting these little doodads all over your car, you just positive, negative to the battery, another wire to the ground. You can screw it to your frame. I mean, you can mount it with the hook and loop or hook and latch that it comes with, the industrial. I mean, there's so many ways to do this. And the really cool thing is that, and this was important to my Patreon when she started asking these questions, was, can I take this and move it from one vehicle to the other? Why, yes, you can. If you can turn a bolt, you can move it. Not a problem. So let's just go ahead and see if we can lock this in real quick. Both devices seek to solve the problem in different ways. The T.R.A.P device is a theoretical at best device. While the inventor has a lot of experience with electronic resonance, he worked for NASA, the device fails to, and flat out doesn't even seem to be trying to meet any of the standards set by the DOD or even the Department of Homeland Security to defeat the effects of an EMP. It's just that simple. Now, I won't say that this is a gimmick because I've watched every video and I've read every article that I could find on the device. What I will say is that there is science to back the T.R.A.P device. Theory, but zero proof that it works. I would also note that the developer of the device has very strong credentials in the field of electronic engineering, but it's clear that the business is wrapped up in prepper sales or in the prepper sales space rather than being science focused. He's written several books on prepping, and they're not bad at all, and has several free audiobooks as well, all of which you can find on my Amazon store. That's right, shameless promotion. Now, on the other hand, EMP Shield is certified out the ass to actually work. Not only are the actual test results posted on the website for you to read or download, but they even hold 7 mil standards or military standard certifications. I could go on, but if one device is only focused on the first 2 phases of an EMP and another device offers protection from all 3, if one device is tested and proved to take 40 plus EMP strikes and the other doesn't even have 1 mil standard certification, in this case, the superior device should be clear. Now, this is the point in the video where I ask you to support the channel and keep my lights on. I'll leave a link in the description, localprepper.net. Drop in, see if you can help. Okay, until the next time, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.